How to lose weight as a 27-year-old woman weighing 70 kilograms, 164 centimeters tall. Okay, so this question comes from Brunella. Before I read this comment, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click the notification button, like this video at the end if you find value in it, share it with other people. If you want an exact plan like this, comment down below your exact situation, so your age, height, your weight, your gender and your activity level, okay, what you do on a weekly basis. Please also, down below you can find all my guides. Everything is free down below, and you will subscribe automatically to my newsletter when you download the strength training guide down below. So please go ahead and do that. But now let's get on with the video. Let me just quickly grab a sip of water. This is a comment from Brunella Muko 2581 on my last video. Hi, I live in Belgium. I discovered your video. I'd like to know how many calories I should eat a day to lose weight. I'm 164 centimeters tall. I weigh 70 kilograms and I'm 27. Currently, I'm eating around 1,600 calories and around 2,000 on the weekend. I'd like to drop between 63 and 65 kilos. And for the last 2 weeks, I've been moderately active, going to the gym at least 3 times a week. I can see that I've lost centimeters around my belly, for example, but on the scales, it's still 70 kilograms. I tried to lose weight so many times, but still stuck at 70. Okay, so Brunella, the devil's in the detail, right? So before we move on to your plan, I want to just say, okay, you've lost centimeters in your waist, but you say your weight is still stuck on 70 kilograms. I want to emphasize something before we move on, because the number on the scales is not as important as your measurements, the measurements that you take, how you see yourself in the mirror, how you feel, are your clothes fitting better, okay? And here's why. Muscle, when you start gaining muscle, it's absolutely normal for your body weight to stay the same, okay? Because muscle and fat, okay, 1 kilogram of muscle weighs as much as 1 kilogram of fat, okay? 1 kilogram. So you might not see big changes, but like you said, you've started seeing little changes in your centimeters around your waist, okay? So you should be very proud of that, because, you know, that's a big achievement. But before we talk about the nitty-gritty, let's quickly run over the numbers, okay? So from my calculations, your basal metabolic rate is at 1,500 calories, okay? So that's without any activity. You said you're moderately active, but to me, you are on the lightly active side, okay? Because you said you go to the gym at least 3 times per week, I believe. I'm just reading, and that's only in the last 2 weeks as well. You haven't said anything about your steps, so I don't know if you do any steps in the day, but we'll move on to that, okay, in a bit. So moderately active, 1.375, okay, multiplier. So your maintenance calories are 2,062 calories a day. So if you eat these calories, you should easily maintain your current weight, okay? No weight gain, no weight loss. Now, I'm going to give you an 8-week plan to follow, okay? So what you need to do in the next 8 weeks for you to lose about 5 kilograms, okay? Depending on how much you stick to it, how much you actually follow through it with everything, should be up to 5 kilograms, okay? And that will be, which is something that you're already doing, right? You're already eating 1,600 calories every day, Monday to Friday, apart from the weekends, okay? So you need to be on 1,600 calories. So that's a 400 calorie deficit, okay? Between 400 and 462, all right? These numbers, you have to remember that the body is a lot more complicated than we make it to be, okay? Certain days it will burn more calories. When you're on your period, your body tends to burn up to 300 more calories, okay? That doesn't mean that you need to be eating those calories back, okay? But it just means that your body will expend different amounts of calories depending on what day it is, okay? Because that's how the human body works, right? Temperature changes, hormonal changes, etc. But these numbers are a good kind of, rule of thumb to stick to and kind of use as guidance to figure out, okay, how do I go about this whole weight loss thing, right? So that will make you lose 0.5 kilograms per week. So you can weigh yourself, let's say every Saturday morning before you eat anything, before you drink anything, after going to the loo, okay? Weigh yourself every Saturday for the next 8 weeks. And trust me, there will be weight fluctuations, okay? But as long as the trend is going down, we are golden. So 120 grams of protein because you are young. You are young and you should be eating at least 100 grams of protein, okay? And if you are strength training, it's even more important for you to eat your protein. This is your foundational years. This is your foundation, okay? You're building your body in order so that when you get older, you don't have to be dieting. You don't have to be eating like a little ant, okay? It's for you to gain some muscle, teach your body that, it's safe. Your body is metabolically healthy. And that when you get older, your metabolism will thank you for it, okay? Because you're not going to have these weight fluctuations, especially when it comes to, menopause. I know women don't think about these things. We don't think about menopause. We think about the years that we're living now, how happy we are, how beautiful we are. But you have to start thinking about these things at the age of 27, You have to be prepping yourself, prepping your metabolism, prepping your body for the years that are to come. Okay, it's the truth of it. So 120 grams of protein, that's what I want you to be eating. 145 grams of carbs, might seem low, but if you want to lose that 5 kilograms, we need to stick to that, okay? And there's obviously you need to eat all your smart carbs, okay? Try not to have, things that are obviously very palatable, right? Because these are things that are very easy to overeat, like crisps and chocolates, etc. Okay, we need to stick to your complex carbs. So potatoes are great as carbs. Okay, you can have that with every meal. Make sure you weigh them out. Yeah. 60 grams of fat. As a woman, you still need your fat, okay? There's some people, crazy people out there who will make women eat 20 grams of fat. That is absolutely not ideal for our hormonal profiles, okay? Your hormones are going to be okay, so you don't want that. We want to make sure that our hormones are healthy. If our hormones are not healthy, you are going to find it crazy difficult to lose weight. You can, of course, play around with the carbs and the fats. So if you want to sometimes drop the fat to 50 grams, that's fine. And then eat a bit more carbs, 160 grams of carbs, that's going to be fine. Just make sure you never go below 50 grams of fats, okay? Right, so that's your diet outline. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about what you're currently doing, okay? So you said you're currently on 1,600 calories daily, Monday to Friday, and then you go up to 2,000, which is your maintenance on the weekend, okay? However, I struggle to believe that that is the case, okay? Because first and foremost, are you tracking the calories that you're eating on the weekend? Probably not. I think that you're just assuming that you're eating 2,000 calories on the weekend. So what we actually need to do in order for this plan to work, okay, if you want this, if you want to lose the 5 kilograms in the next 8 weeks, you need to follow through every day. You need to eat 1,600 calories every single day, including the weekends. It's going to be hard, but if you want it hard enough, that's what you have to do. So no binging on the weekends, and also hold on. You said you're working out 3 times a week, okay? At least, which is a great amount. So if you stick to your 3 workouts per week, full body workouts, ideally, like I always say, your squats, deadlift, bench press, bent over rows, and then a few accessories like step ups, some ab work. Okay, that's going to do the trick, but making sure that you are progressively overloading session to session. So what does that look like? Adding an extra, 2.5 plate to your deadlift or your squat, okay? Dropping your reps a little bit and then dropping the weight back down, repping out, let's say 20 reps on squat, okay? It's very hard for me to go into the exact details because there is so much nuance that comes with, a proper training plan, a proper nutrition plan, but I hope that you're finding this useful in some aspect, okay? Because you can still use the information that I'm telling you today and devise an amazing plan for yourself, okay? You just need to do a bit of research. Obviously, if you don't want to do the research, you can always reach out to me, but this is exactly what you need to do. So you're going to be strength training at least, like you said, 3 times. I think for you, especially, I don't know if you're busy, you haven't said, oh, you probably work though, right? So 3 times a week is a perfect sweet spot, okay? And then you never mentioned any steps, so we need to focus on your steps. If you are busy, like I've said before, you can do about 5,000 steps Monday to Friday, and then on the weekend, I want you to aim for at least 10,000 steps, okay? Saturday and Sunday each day. But if you find steps easy and you can get more steps in on the weekdays, then do 8,000 to 10,000 steps daily, okay? And just maintain that throughout the week. If you stick to your 1,600 calories, okay, every single day for the next 8 weeks, you do your 10,000 steps daily if you can, or do less on your weekdays and then more on the weekends, and do your 3 strength training workouts per week, you will lose 5 kilograms in 8 weeks like it's nothing, okay? But the key is consistency, following through with the plan, and not giving into emotions, not giving into binges, not giving into, guilty pleasures. That is the key. So like I've said before, I'm afraid that you use the weekends as a little, fun time, which is, we all want to have fun. But if you have a goal, sometimes fun has to be postponed, okay? I know we all want instant gratification nowadays, but we need to learn, if you want to achieve something, and we say we're going to achieve, 5 kilogram weight loss in the next 8 weeks, well, that takes a lot of discipline, especially in the beginning, okay? Over time, it becomes like brushing your teeth. But in the beginning, it takes a lot of discipline. So let's go back to, just quickly before I finish off, you said you've lost a couple of centimeters, but the weight is staying the same. So it's either that, obviously going to the gym has made you lose a bit of water weight. So you have lost a couple of, centimeters, but the weight has stayed the same because, you haven't really lost any fat. I mean, if you lose water weight, you should lose some weight on the scales as well. So really, I think it's mostly down to the fact that you're not following through with a plan, okay? But also ask yourself, why do you want to do this weight loss? Who is it for? Do you actually think you're going to feel better when you lose this 5 kilograms, okay? Because you're not like overly overweight. I mean, your BMI is 27.5, but that just puts you in a slightly overweight category. So if you want to be on the healthy side, which remember BMI, okay, is a great measure for like the generic person, but not everybody has the same amount of muscle, the same, fat distribution, etc. So it all varies majorly, depending on the person. So try this for the next 2 months, 8 weeks, see how it goes. And I can guarantee you that the weight is going to go down. But the most important thing after that is obviously bringing yourself back up to maintenance and building that muscle, honey, okay? Because muscle is king. At the moment, you're doing your strength training to make sure that your body stays metabolically healthy, to make sure that you have extra movement in your day, to make sure, we're building on what's going to come after the next 2 months. But it's after the 2 months that you're really going to start building some muscle. Okay, so it's very important that we do this in stages. So let's focus on the 2-month plan for now. Let's get you down to your 65 kilograms. And then we can start building more serious muscle and building that body up. Yeah, but 5 kilograms is going to make a huge difference. You're going to feel a lot better, but then you'll increase your calories up to your new maintenance and you're going to feel like you're on top of the world. So the first 2 months are going to be hard, but trust me, it's going to pay off. Right, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, obviously, subscribe to the channel. Also, like I said, comment down below your example if you want me to help you with devising a plan for you specifically, your age, height, weight, what you do for exercise on a weekly basis, and your gender, please. And grab all the guides down below, subscribe to my newsletter. I shall see you on the next one.